What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some games that really caught my eye at Summer Game Fest. Look, everybody can have their own opinion. Seems like the overall opinion of this show was pretty low, and that's okay. I totally respect that. But I will say, for somebody like me, I kind of had my eye right on a few different games, and gotta be real, I got what I wanted. Not all of it, but I definitely got some of it, from Dragon Ball to Alan Wake and a few others. So I want to go over some games, again, that caught me in terms of a good way, not necessarily a negative way. I also want to throw in some honorable mentions. So we're going to talk about 6 games kind of in detail. I want to go over maybe 5 or 6 that just kind of rapid fire style. So these include Slitterhead, which I thought looked pretty good, but kind of looked rough around the edges. That was kind of a problem with the entire show, is there would be a couple different games, whether they were indies or mid-sized games. It would look like they had something going, but then they wouldn't go all the way. Slitterhead was very much like that. Combat looked very rough around the edges, but it did look honestly pretty intriguing. Like, what they were trying to do with combat looked pretty neat. You had Arkham Shadow that I want to throw in this honorable mention, and it's only because I don't have a Quest 3. Now, I was joking even online, maybe I should start a crowdfund, because holy dear God, if you guys have seen the screenshots that have even come out online on Twitter, the game looks really good, and the free flow combat, it actually looks more like you're literally Batman. You get to see like the hands punching. They are probably going to do a better job with the Arkhamverse than Suicide Squad did. So I'm impressed by it. Obviously, it's just a cinematic trailer, but it's great to hear Roger's voice. But then even these screenshots that we're getting, the game looks good. It's just I literally cannot play it, so my excitement can only go so high for it. Want to throw in that Killer Bean game? This is the one that Jeff said was only made by one individual. Game looked fun. It's good to see Max Payne. The slowing down time and kind of contorting your body and stuff looked cool. I don't know if I'll actually end up getting it, but it had some comedy, had some action, had some cool game mechanics that I don't think you expect for a game called Killer Bean. You had the Blumhouse games, and I was a little disappointed on the one hand of there not being like a big one, but then I was also at the same time kind of intrigued. I think my issue with what they showed is too fast. Like, these are all very weird games, and they even, Jason Blum even said that, right? Extremely weird, and they're going for it. That's great. To do like a compilation clip of 5 different games or whatever it was, and it was just too fast. It didn't convey each game individually when they're trying to be weird. So I'm kind of into it. I'm also kind of like, I don't know if I'm sold entirely, but it's something I'll be keeping my eye on going forward. You have Sonic and Shadow Generations. This might be the Sonic game that I finally freaking get. It's just a franchise I can't get into, but I'm really, it looks great. The box cover looks great. I skip a lot of Sonic games. I've played them kind of historically in my life, and this might be the first one that I am both extremely excited for and then actually get day one. And then last 2, I briefly want to mention Skate. What we got was very, very little. In fact, you could say next to nothing, but you did get that you're going to actually be able to play it this fall, right? In terms of like an early access, not really early access, like early development or mid-development type thing. So while we didn't get anything to visually look at, really, at least we're going to very, very soon. And that was also kind of a theme. Civilization 7 was the same way. You see it, but they say gameplay is later in the summer. Okay, they're kind of separating or splitting things up. And then the final one, as an honorable mention, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 continues to look amazing. I never connected to the first one. I actually found it too difficult for my slower brain up here, but honestly, the second one looks phenomenal. It's just they didn't give a date. It's supposed to come out in the fall, no date. That one really caught me off guard. I would have bet a lot of money that they would have given a date at the end of that trailer. Regardless, okay, let's go over. That was a pretty in detail kind of honorable mention list. Let's go over 6 games that really, I would say, did an extra level to my excitement. So number 1, actually starting at the end of the show, Phantom Blade Zero. I think it's like a minute and 40 seconds. It's actually really not that long when you look at it back, when you take the video online. But, the trailer looks awesome. The gameplay looks awesome. To me, I said it live, it looks like a faster Stellar Blade. It reminds me of Stellar. And, okay, it's not like Stellar Blade is wholly original, right? But it's got that feel. It's got that even FromSoft type thing. So, I am really actually impressed by it. I know, I was impressed by the first trailer. I think a lot of people were, and we were all waiting to see it again. I didn't think it would look this good. I mean, I was expecting gameplay next time we saw it. People were getting hyped, and I was like, yeah, I'm excited for it, but I don't know how excited. No, this game looks like another hit. Truly, like if you thought Stellar Blade kind of came out of nowhere, at least initially, and then became a big thing, I think this game is going to do the same thing. Next up, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. The big thing with this, well, actually, there's a few things. Number one, you get like all of the additions. You get the confirmation that it is going to be, you are going to have local co-op, which thank the freaking Lord. So they did confirm that. The collector's edition looks absolutely unreal. You get a season pass. We know there's going to be 20 plus characters that come to that season pass. You get the prices, all that jazz. Trailer looked awesome, and you finally get the release date. So to me, the needle, like some of the stuff they did is cool. Like even when I just mentioned, a lot of that stuff is cool. It doesn't move the needle massively, right? The big thing that I wanted, this is the thing that I was saying even while we were watching it live on the channel, why I was okay with Summer Game Fest. Like some of these things I really wanted, or what were some of the things I wanted? I wanted a Sparking Zero release date. They gave it to me, right? So that does help, I'd say, the overall show to me, because I literally got one of the main things that I wanted. And then, not only did we get Alan Wake 2 DLC, which comes out tomorrow, looks awesome, 3 episodes, right? 3 different characters, and then they did do additional details, so it's 1 hour each. It's kind of linear. It might be more linear, actually, than the base game of Alan Wake 2, but I cannot... When Sam Lake was on stage, right? And he starts to talk about collections. As soon as I think he said the word collection, I said, we're getting it. Like, thank the freaking Lord. So he talked about how, hey, people send him Remedy, screenshots of the Remedy games. No Alan Wake 2, and they're fixing that. So I'm going to be picking myself up that. October 22nd, I believe, is the physical deluxe edition, which comes with the one thing I will say. The trailer looked great. Getting it physically is fantastic. The collector's edition actually looks pretty cool. Now, it's $200. I'm probably not going to go for it, even though it looks cool. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is, to get the physical, deluxe thing. It's coming with everything that you get kind of right now, right? So, like, if you want to play this Night Springs DLC tomorrow, you got to buy it, or you got to upgrade, or you already have the digital deluxe, and then 4 months from now or whatever it is, you buy it again. It truly is a collector's type item. And I'm not a big fan of them charging $80 for it. I think that's kind of my thing, where $80 for a deluxe edition is a fair price for a full game, and it's got the deal. That's fair. But the fact is, like, you're doing the physical editions later. You should have done it day one. So I will absolutely give them credit for finally doing the physical. I've seen hundreds of comments online saying, hey, if it was on physical, I would buy it, but I'm not supporting this digital only. Okay, time to put your money where your mouth. Not calling people out, but many people asked for it. It's time to, it's go time, I guess, in terms of buying it. But I will defend even myself, or maybe others in the same spot. Not a huge fan of doing it a year later, because now you almost have to buy it 2 different times, and the second time is really just so you could have it physically. The game preservationist, in me, I'm going to do it, but it's something I want to call out, in this video. Okay, next up is Lego Horizon. So this is what they started the I think, this show started pretty darn good. When this game was first rumored, I kind of laughed at it and kind of came at it from the angle of, like, why? Like, why does it need to exist? To be honest with you, number one, trailer looked great. It looked like a lot of fun. Visually, it looked awesome. And one thing and I'm not fully with this camp, but I'm like kind of. I don't think Aloy is like the greatest protagonist of all time, okay? I think one thing she severely lacks is a lot of personality, right? Now, at the same time, you don't need every character to be like Nathan Drake, right? And you also look at Aloy's lineage and like her actual background, right? The character herself. You understand why she's a little bit more reserved or a little less, engaged. But in the game, in Lego Horizon, I was having a blast just listening to Ashley Birch say any line, because I just feel like they're going to give Aloy a little bit more time and a little just bit more room, I guess, to just kind of have fun with it. You know what I mean? Do a side to Aloy you've never seen before. I don't want to like focus in on that point too much, but I think that's something you immediately notice with the trailer, where it's like Aloy almost seems like a different character, which I think is a good thing. And the trailer itself, again, I think it looks like a lot of fun. Coming out on Switch, I think that is a brilliant idea. Now, coming out Switch, PlayStation, and PC, well, you're definitely leaving, Xbox out of it, but Switch is such a good platform, I think, for, you can play it cooperatively, right? To be able to play a co-op Lego Horizon game, playing it on Switch. Obviously, I would get on PlayStation. It's my primary console, but it's something that I really think it's a good idea, and I think it's actually going to sell extremely, extremely well for PlayStation. So, I don't know, like, I've literally gone from dismissing it and saying, why would you even do something like this, to enjoying what we've seen so far, thinking that it might be a pretty darn good game, and then also saying, oh my God, like I think they got something here selling wise. If you really want to expand Horizon, I know you got like 10 Horizon games coming. This could be a really, really good one and a big one. Okay, next up is Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Now, there's not too much to say because upon asking, I was told that you still can't talk about the playtest. The playtest that some people may or may not have been able to experience. Not allowed to say anything about it. What I will say is I thought the trailer looked good. I know the things that I've seen is mainly concerned about the art style. I'm not worried about the art style. I think for a multiplayer Quidditch game, you let the gameplay speak for yourself. Granted, they didn't show much of that gameplay, but again, if you know, we'll just say that. And at the same time, comes out, you finally get a freaking release date. It's about time. September 3rd, and a cool little caveat, PlayStation, I didn't even catch this originally, PlayStation Plus gets it for free, really for the entire month of September. So from launch day, I believe, to the very end of September, if you're on PS Plus, you get it for free. If you're not, it's $30. And, again, I've seen some things about, hey, why are they charging for it? Well, one thing you can actually find on their FAQ page, on their website, there's no microtransactions. That's kind of nuts. I thought there would be. I think that's almost a trade-off. If it's free to play, you're going to get bombarded with microtransactions. If it's not free to play, which it's not, then it should be safe from that stuff. So I think it's a nice, happy medium. I'm excited. We'll be covering that. Really, all of these games. Actually, I would even say the honorable mentions. A lot of these games I'll be covering, leading into each game. But Quidditch kind of stands out, specifically for me. And then final game to talk about is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, which came out of nowhere. When Jeff said it's a Power Rangers game, but like a retro look or something. I'm like, oh my dear God. I didn't expect like a Power Rangers RPG or anything, but no, big Power Rangers guy right here. I've played many of the old-timey games. I remember playing it on the early PlayStations with my mom, who never played games. She remembers it, as do I. I'm psyched for it. I mean, this is like a TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Scott Pilgrim versus the World that, I'm immediately reminded of. Oh my God. Like, I think even in my chat, which was a little down on the event, a little is probably understating it, but, the chat that wasn't a huge fan of the event, everybody was like, oh my God, here we go, Power Rangers. So no, that game really caught me by maybe the most surprise of any games on my list, because it kind of came out of nowhere, and it also looked very good. The one thing is just no info, and I think it also, at least on the Summer Game Fest thing, maybe it's different online. I didn't look more into it, but it looks like it's only coming on PC, which has got to be a mistake. You got to put this thing on console, but maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I didn't see something or whatever, but also no release. And for a game that looked pretty good, like, the game looked like it was, and when I say pretty good, I mean, like, the game looks ready. There was a lot going on in that trailer. I can't imagine this game is like a second half of next year type game. I think this is within the next 12 months. So to not give a date was a little disappointing. But there you go. There's my list. Some of these games will break down, again, a little bit more into detail, like individually on the channel over the next couple days. And obviously, like I said, all of these games I'll be covering leading into all of their releases. A lot of these games do come out this year, so that is very exciting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.